Hello, this is my first devlog of this fighting game that I want to make. It's called Friends Before Enemies. It's where I take a bunch of my friends, turn them into fighting game characters, and then have them settle disagreements via the art of video gaming. So this is my sixth attempt at a fighting game. But the previous attempts were more like Smash Brothers. This is more like Street Fighter. And I just wanted to record my progress thus far. I have 2.5 characters. I have this guy, Kieran. That's not how you spell his name, and he's going to get upset about that, but I don't care. Haha, it's my game, whatever. I have this frog character, and I have Runky. His real name isn't Runky, but I'm doing it because it's better than Stinky. And my cats woke up. Great. This is fantastic. Anyway, I have a few attacks for each of them. Right now it's just normal basic attacks. I have no special moves animated at all. I can actually show you what I do have. So I'm using Game Maker Studio 2, and these are the scripts. So how it works. This is player 1, and the same thing will be for player 2 when I get that going. So you choose your character, you type in the name. We have the player state for establish, and what that does is establish the stats of the character. And so for Kieran, his speed is 6, his jump speed is 17, and his weight is 0. And we also have this hurt box for collisions and attacks. We have our inputs established here. And then once we establish our character, we head over to the normal state, which is this. This is where we check if we're moving right or left. That's weirdly set up. Hang on. If we're moving right or left, or if we're not moving, if we're jumping or crouching. This is also where we register for ground attacks and air attacks. If we're crouching, we go to a separate state, because there's a lot of weird stuff with crouching. But for the ground attacks, if we press the attack key, if we have no inputs, then it goes to a neutral attack. If we're facing a certain way and we have an input in, we have a forward tilt, and then the reverse for a backwards tilt, and I'll show you what all this means in game. And then we head over to the attack state, which is our attack start. We set our speed to 0, so we're not flying around the place. Our gravity remains. We set this attacking variable to 1, which pretty much says, hey, I'm attacking. The player state equals the attack state, which is established here. And so this is for attacks, for specific attacks. And so we just sort out which input, and then we head over to the attack state. Now the attack state isn't in this step event, it's in the draw event. And the draw event is where we draw the character. So these are all the variables for basic stuff, like standing, walking, crouching, getting hurt, etc., etc. But here we have our animation script, which finally we get back to here. So this is our hitbox, and so this script can be used for either player 1 or player 2 as long as we establish which hitbox we're using. And these are our specific attacks. So, for example, if we're doing just a neutral attack, so we press the A button, we have no other inputs, so our attack state is neutral attack. Then we go to the attack start, which is right here. We set our horizontal speed to 0, we're applying our gravity, we're saying yes, we're attacking, and then our attack state, which was _n, which means that it will go through this code here, because we're on the Kieran character. All of this doesn't matter. So we run this code, which brings us here. And this is our _n, our neutral attack. So we're saying if the sprite isn't the attacking sprite, we're setting the attacking sprite. And then the animation counter is pretty much counting the frames in accordance to the game speed. And so if the animation counter is 1.08, then we spawn this hitbox. In the hitbox, we have all these arguments to customize it and make it all whatever, nice and pretty and stuff. So we can adjust the hit stun, we can adjust if it makes you go prone or not, how much damage it does, the horizontal and vertical size, the knockback, and how long it lasts for, and of course which hitbox we're using and the coordinates of where it spawns. And that's once we attack, we set our animation counter to 0, and so we're starting on the first frame. And if attacking equals 1, so if we're attacking and we reach the end of our animation, player state equals normal again. And that's kind of how the attacking system currently works. I don't have a defending system. I'm not quite sure how to do that. That's why I established this crouch state, and so when I do eventually get around to trying to figure out defending, I have a whole state to work with instead of just inputs. Yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and see this in action. There we are. So this is our character Kieran. He can jump the 200s in the corner. Those are for health. That's health bar stuff. Now I don't have hitboxes or hurt boxes turned on, but we can see the moves here. We got a kick, we got another kick, we got a punch, we got some spit and fire. There's our crouch, and we can jump around. Now the sprites automatically flip to face each other, and that's how we can do this backwards and forwards inputs and have different attacks. We also have inputs like the crouch down and forward, but we can also press down and forward to have unique attacks. So we got that roll, we got the kick, and the flame. Put them together, you got a roll, kick, flame thing. Then we got a backwards kick, but if you press down and back, you have this little smack aside. There are aerials. I only have one aerial so far for this character, which is cool. You see the knockback working. That's the prone state, and you can see that the health is going down right here. No backgrounds. I've been working on this for just a few days, so everything is still pretty bare bones. The animation is nothing to write home about. It's very very basic stuff. But hey, that's what you got to work with, you know. So I got things, and then when the health bar reaches 0 or below, the enemy, in this case player 2, gets set into a dead state. And I can go ahead and show what that is. The dead state, very similar to the prone, where the prone, you just kind of get knocked aside. Actually, that's it just be equals 0. We want to make sure that when they go prone, their horizontal speed doesn't go all over the place. Very similar to prone, we just set our horizontal and vertical speed to 0, and down here we say that they're invincible, so they can't be hurt anymore. The animation counter is 0, so it's the first frame, and then if the sprite index doesn't equal prone or dead in this case, then we set it to prone or dead. I guess I'll also show off the other characters. The second character I have is the frog guy. Here we go. Here's the frog samurai. He's got different stats. He can jump a lot higher. He's generally a lot faster, and he's got he's got a tongue. He's got this crouch sword swipe, which is cool. I had a bit of fun drawing these smear frames. Got a little sword poke scoop thing, and yeah, it's nothing crazy. I should probably lengthen that. In fact, I'll do that right now and show you how that works. So I'll go into the F animation for the frog. Here we have our forward tilt, and I want to go ahead and turn the hitboxes on so we can actually see the spacing that we're working with. There we go. So the blue square is the hurt box for collisions, and the red boxes are for collisions, but different. So we want to make these a bit more because you can see that there's a slight the bend of the blade goes slightly outside the box, and we want to just catch that because it feels a bit better when you're able to reach just a tiny bit farther. So there's two ways that we can do that. We can either change the X coordinate for spawning the hitbox, or we can change the size of the hitbox itself. I think I'm going to change the size of the hitbox and just put that to a 7, and then put that to a 5, and we'll see how that works. There we are. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Yeah, we'll roll with that. Maybe bump that up just a little bit more to 6 and 8. Now this is part of the playtesting side of game making, where you just gotta tweak the numbers till it feels right. I'll go ahead and show that that third character that I just put in earlier today. Just animated the basics for movement. So there's run key. Now it should be popping up. There it is. Yeah, so he's a lot slower, jumps not as high. He's a very big fella, but he's got this horn jab, which is fun. Knocks you prone. I figure for someone so big and that can get hit easily, having a little quick get off me tool that allows him to get some breathing room, I guess, knocks him down, knocks him away. I think that would be nice for a character of this size, where so many of his other attacks probably take a few frames to go through. So having a quick little cha and it does 10 damage, and so it's a pretty good move, I think. But again, everything's up for work and altercations. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have so far. Camera moves around nice and stuff. This character controller is going to be for the character select screen. And I'm getting a text. Hi, Galby. And yeah, when I'm gonna need to eventually make a character select screen, because I'm on my third character right now, and I'm gonna need to add in that blocking system before I get too carried away. Part of me is like, screw it, I'll just do without blocking, but I don't know, I think blocking is a necessary component in this type of thing. The combat system that I'm establishing would really do well with the blocking mechanic. So that's what I got. Devlog over. Da-da-da.